liberty, and justice for all.
Please remain standing and have a moment of silence for our men and women serving overseas, protecting our great country. And I'd also like to, on behalf of the village board and myself, extend our sincere, deepest, and heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of the Dallas Police Department on the tragic loss of 5 police officers that were tragically killed, murdered. Although their tour of duty has suddenly ceased, we pray that perpetual light shine upon their souls. They are the ones that stand between good and evil. There is blue lives do matter. They do protect us every day. And we appreciate our village of Suffern Police Department. So please take a moment. Thank you. Okay, set the meeting, set the next board meeting for Monday, August 8th at 7:30. And it is now 7:35, and I would like to open up the public hearing, to continue the public hearing, change section 26615 of the Village of Suffern Code regarding use of yards.
Good evening. If you recall previously, the board issued a negative declaration with respect to this and had asked for a few changes, one of which was, this goes to the having accessory structures in yards, to lower it to 10 feet. So we made that change, and as presented, as the board has it, I'd ask for a final vote, or if people have comment. The only other thing I would ask is for an override of the county planning. They indicated it seemed contradictory, but when you read it, and I read through it several times, I understand it can be a little confusing at first blush, but I think if you read through it, it does make sense. It starts with saying, buildings and structures accessory to single and two-family dwellings, no accessory building or structure shall be permitted within any required yard. So that's the base, that's where we start. Then it says, putting that aside, a single family or two-family dwelling may have not more than 2. So if you go back to the beginning, it does apply. The first part certainly applies, and the second part is an exception. So I respectfully disagree with the county's assessment, so just to keep it clean, I would ask that we have an override on that.
To override the county GML.
Right, and,
Okay.
and the reason being is that if you do read through it, it's not contradictory. They say it seems contradictory and then say it must be changed. So I'll go back at them and say theirs is a bit contradictory, but respectfully, I think that we could override it. I'd ask the board to consider overriding it, because I think it makes sense when you read through it and knowing the practicalities of how the building department's been handling it through the years.
Okay.
Mr. Magrino, did we do seeker on this yet?
Yes, we did at the first meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so do we want to just review for the board and the public here the size or of the accessory buildings that will be allowed?
Right. This clarifies what had been a confusing area, and it caused a lot of residents to have to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a variance, which the board typically granted because it was for if somebody had a shed and wanted a pool, you couldn't have it. So this kind of clarifies it. You can have something such as a pool, then you can also have a shed, provided it doesn't exceed 10 feet in height, and it's set back at least 5 feet from the property line, rear or side. And it's not more than 100 square feet. Previously, it said less than, so that would be
Right, so this is straight 10 by 10.
Right, 10 by 10 is good.
10 feet high.
Right, and you don't have to go to ZBA for a variance or anything,
And 5 feet off the property lines.
right.
Not to put you on the spot, but do we define median in the code?
I'm sorry?
Do we define median
median height, median height was taken out in the most
But is
recent.
there an actual definition of median?
I don't think there was a definition. That was, I believe that was what the building inspector was kind of going by.
So we're going with, it does not exceed 10 feet
Correct.
in height?
Right.
Okay.
Is that the one you have, version you
No.
have? Oh, sorry.
But you still, if you say that something can't exceed a height, you have to have a measuring point from where to where.
Right, well, again, that's why we asked the building inspector to be present, but he had indicated that he basically is talking about the peak. The peak of a shed, for instance, would not exceed 10 feet in height.
So it should
But
say
if we left in
at the highest.
median would, you know, that might clarify it a bit if we left the median in.
If we left it.
Right. For future building inspectors. I know that that's what his intention is, to do the median height.
Yeah, I think that if they're going to approve this, they should have some defining language such as median, but then follow it up with actually providing a definition of median
Right,
in
we
the
can do
code.
Could it just be as simple as the median roof peak? Right? Because median means the middle, and the roof would be
Yeah,
the
but you
middle
still
of
have,
the building.
you have to have a point from where you're measuring from and to.
From the floor, from the,
Ground level.
okay. What do you recommend, Mr. Magrino?
Well, if you know, we could either, I mean, median, you know, sometimes we can, you know, use the common meaning. I understand what Mr. Kraushaar was saying. We can adjourn it to make that change and say median height, but, you know, I'd have to speak to the building inspector about what he wants the base, I mean, he's the one who's going to be doing the measuring,
Right.
basically. Or
And they need,
make the
they need a
determination.
starting point.
Right. I mean, he's been doing, that's what he's been doing, is basically measuring it from median height, presumably from, you know, the ground to the peak of the roof.
All right, so let's make I'm going to make a motion here, just to table it to...
Continue.
To continue the public hearing for August 8th at 7:35 to clarify the height requirement.
How it's to be measured.
Right.
From where to where.
You know, I just asked it to go, I don't know if you set the September meeting, I'd already made plans to be out of town on the 8th, so I won't be present on the 8th.
We need a second, Mayor.
Okay, I'll be fine.
Yeah, but ask if anyone wants.
Does anyone have any comment on us, on this public hearing? Okay, so I'll continue the public hearing on August 8th at 7:35, continuation of public hearing.
With regard to local law amending Chapter 266 of the Code of the Village of Suffern. Do we have a motion to that effect?
Now you just made one.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
On the 8th, it's going to be continued to September?
Yes.
Or if okay. That's
Yes, August 8th. Okay. And we'll just clarify that before August 8th. With
Yeah, I'll change,
building
certainly
inspector.
change it before then and send
Right.
it to the right.
Okay, it is now 7:45. We're going to have a motion to open up the public hearing, the action and remedy property maintenance condition pursuant to Village Code 205-5 and 205-6B. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Mr. Magrino.
Yes, thank you. The purpose of this hearing deals with the property at 27 Hillside Avenue. As the board's aware, Section 206 of the Village Code permits the village, where somebody has been provided with appropriate notice, if they don't correct a property maintenance violation, the village may undertake to remedy the situation or remedy the condition and charge it back to the property on the next property tax bill. The property at 27 Hillside, I can tell you from personal knowledge, has been before the court many times for a prosecution, a criminal prosecution. This is separate from that. The criminal prosecution, most recently on February 25th of 2016, there was a criminal trial wherein the homeowner was found guilty of 2 charges. One of them was storing vehicles on the property, and the other was a property maintenance of of maintaining the property in unsafe and unsanitary condition with respect to litter, debris, garbage, junk, which constitute a health, safety, and physical hazard. Again, I'm just putting that out for a point of information. That is a separate criminal matter, and that was handled in the criminal court. The village code provides for the separate remedying of the condition. It's certainly not something that the village board wants to get in the habit of doing, but in particularly bad situations, which I submit, or severe situations, I should say, which I submit you'll hear tonight, this might be an appropriate one for the village to consider undertaking action. I'll ask the code enforcement officers, but I'll just lay it out almost like an opening statement. On March 31st of 2016, the property owner was served with a notice of violation, advising him of the violation of the code and that he had a certain amount of time to remedy it. Again, you'll hear from the code enforcement officers that time has come and gone. It was 30 days. The situation was not remedied. I will say, as of tonight, one of the code enforcement officers will indicate that I think at the time we originally served the notice, there were two vehicles on the property that had no registration, no license plates, and were just basically being stored there. I believe since that time 2 were added, but 3 have been taken away as of about 45 minutes ago. So I know the property owner is here. He's going to speak as well, but that's just kind of the background for it. At this point, I'd just like to call up one of the code enforcement officers just to discuss the situation. They have some pictures, and just ask them what they observe at the property. But before I do that, I don't know, do any of the board members have any questions before I turn it over?
No, I just have, I have communications here from the neighbors also indicating the same in respect to garbage, furniture, and cars. And these are concerned neighbors throughout Hillside Avenue. That's for the board's information.
Right. And again, the purpose of tonight's hearing is to provide the property owner with an opportunity to be heard with
Right.
respect to the action the village, that I'm going to be asking the village to intend to take. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Stark on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. If I could approach, Mr. Mayor, I have some
Sure.
recent
Bring-
photos from this past week.
All right, for the record, the code enforcement officer has handed the board members pictures. Could you please elaborate as to what those pictures show and where these pictures were taken and when?
The photos that are before you were taken this past Saturday morning, and that's the property at 27 Hillside Drive, the one in question that we're here this evening for. This is as Mr. Magrino stated, the original violation started out with 2 vehicles, and as of Saturday morning, as you can see in the photos, there were 4 vehicles, 2 more added to the rear yard. Violations, subsequent court appearance tickets were issued, as Mr. Magrino stated. We did go to trial on this. An order to remove was mailed and hand-delivered to the address, and it's my position that it's only gotten worse since the notice to remove was given to the property owner.
Okay.
We've been in contact pretty much on a weekly basis with the neighbors. As you can see, Mr. Mayor, you have some correspondence from them.
Yes.
We have been in touch with them and keeping them apprised of the process. They're eager to get the property cleaned up. You should also be aware that the house next to, it's 25 Hillside.
Yes.
Is undergoing a major renovation, and it's going to be put up for sale soon, so the sooner we can get this property cleaned up, the better off for everybody. I'm not sure how well you can see in the photos, but there's just an accumulation of junk in the backyard. There's barbecue grills, there's chairs, there's tables, there's
There's a lot of debris.
There's
Just
a lot
for
of
the
items that
record-
are covered by tarps that we can't identify, but there's lawn furniture, there's children's toys, there's...
Just to be clear, because taken in a vacuum, saying that there's a barbecue grill, lawn furniture, children's toys, that's things that you would potentially normally find at every home. What is the distinction between how they're placed here and the average home?
Do you want
There's approximately 20 lawn chairs in the back of the property, the amount of tables, and obviously they're not being used for what they're intended for. They're stacked on top of each other. There's cardboard boxes with unknown contents. There's gas cans, there's wheelbarrows, and, you know, it's our position that any of these items that are in the backyard, they're not there to be used. They're there just to be stored in this condition. There's garbage cans that have unknown items in it. There's lawn tools that are just piled up. There's car parts, automobile parts. There's desks that you would find in an office, file cabinets, refrigerators.
A lot of junk.
Okay.
Do you know the zoning of this property?
It's residential.
Okay. Does any board members have any questions of the code enforcement officer?
Just one, Mike. This has been ongoing for, I mean, you could say this has been out there for a long time.
This
Not just Saturday.
Right, this goes back, I mean, I was looking through some records, it goes back to 2006, we've been dealing with, the building department's been dealing with this on and off. It went through quite an extensive cleanup back in 2014,
Wow.
where the village came in and removed 95% of the items that were in the backyard.
Wow. Thank you. That satisfies my question.
Thank you. Does anyone from the public here wish to speak? Please state your name and address.
And are you represented by counsel? Do you have an attorney?
Not here tonight, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I don't have one here tonight, sir.
Have you had an opportunity to look at these pictures?
He hasn't stated his name and address
First,
yet.
I want to answer the gentleman's question.
He's speaking
and then
to the
I'll go yours.
microphone.
My name, I want to state my name.
Speaking
ahead.
to the microphone.
I'm John Anselmo from 27 Hillside Avenue in Suffern, New York, and my family and I have been there over 50 years at 27 Hillside Avenue in Suffern.
Okay,
Can I come
thank
and get
you.
the pictures?
Who wants this?
I believe I was being asked a question by the town attorney. Were you asking me something, sir?
I wanted to know if you had an opportunity to look at those pictures.
Oh, I must state that I clearly looked at the pictures right now, and the vehicles that are shown in these pictures are on 27 Hillside Avenue. They have been removed.
They have been removed, is that what you said?
And
Okay.
during some of the work that was taking place, one of the code officers from the village was there, and I have a witness to the effect that came here tonight with me, another gentleman. A local towing company, bonded and insured, removed the vehicles.
Okay,
That
that's
are
good.
in these pictures.
Do you know approximately when that was done?
About 5:30 this evening, approximately 5:30 this evening. I had preliminary arrangements made, and I had to put a lot of pressure on to make sure it was done. I want to introduce, I had a sidebar, a conversation with the town prosecutor. Mr. Mr. Marino had spoken with me the last time I was here, and he told me that you have to remove the vehicles from the yard, and we have to go on and move forward from there. He says, you make progress on this, and we'll try to work the situation out in the best interest of everyone. He said he didn't guarantee anything, but he says you have to do something when you come back in here for this on the 11th of July. And I asked him this evening if I could introduce this to the mayor and the council, if I could bring that point forward. And he said, that's fine. You're a gentleman to ask me, and that's fine.
Okay, so that's what you've cleared up, are the vehicles only, but not the rest of the,
Well,
the debris.
can I state something? There's been some statements made that there's things that are not being used. That's a statement someone makes. I can understand that. There was a statement made that there's refrigerators there. That doesn't apply. There is a refrigerator that I had purchased recently that's only 14 months old, and I expect to use it for my cold drinks in the summer. And it's 14 months old. There isn't anything wrong with it. And it's black in color. I identify what it is. I would say that I have an issue that I have to conform. I was, at one time, I had multiple sheds on the property, and the aggressiveness of one of the code enforcers that no longer is in the village wanted them removed. I had 4 sheds that were removed from me, and I have lost access to keep my lawnmowers and my tools and snow shovels and any of my tools of trade in any sheds. But I have been productive. I has been productive dealing with the building inspector in town to bring in another shed.
With seriousness.
Okay, all right.
To contain what I have, not outside, but to keep it inside.
The 4 sheds that you previously had.
Well, I don't have any intent of bringing back 4 sheds,
Oh, okay.
but to have, one structure. I have had another authority of the county that came to inspect the property from the health department recently, an inspector, and her name was Susan Agostoni, and she came and inspected the property. I wasn't aware that someone was coming, which is fine, and she sent me a letter to that effect and made an appointment with me and sent me a letter saying what she wanted addressed. And then she came back for a re-inspection recently, and she wanted the shingles on the roof and the soffit repaired and replaced. And I had someone professionally do that in the last 2 weeks. And she came back and inspected that, and the front porch area of my house and the steps, and she agreed it was fine. And she sent me a notice to that in effect, and she made an agreement. She walked the property, the rear of the property, and she made a statement agreement with me, and after the 28th of July, she expects to return and re-inspect the rear of the property, that the removal of the cars and that nothing would be left.
This is all from the county health department?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so she will be returning?
On the 28th of July.
All right.
Yes.
That sounds good.
And I spoke with her, her supervisor, which is Nancy Brennan. And I personally went over because I wasn't home when the inspector came the first time. So I personally went over to Pomona, to the health department, and met the people there and explained to them that I have to conform to what they want done. That I want to adhere to what they want done. And I would ask the council tonight that I think it'd be in everyone's best interest if we could come back in here on the 8th of August. I think it'd be productive. This is something that has to be done. It's a very beneficial.
Okay, so the village board will take all of your statements under consideration. How's that?
Yeah, I would appreciate that. And I want the board to understand, I clearly understand that someone has taken the effort to invest heavily in the house next door to me. And I welcome the improvement as to what it is. It's going to be beautiful when it's done. And I know in his best interest, he wants everything around it to be as attractive as possible. And I have that type of goal to go in that direction.
Great. I think Ms. Hertzman has a question.
Mr. Anselmo, you mentioned that you have a refrigerator
Yes.
for your summer refreshments.
Yes.
Is that refrigerator outside?
Yes, yes.
Is it locked and secured?
I have it secured, yes.
How do you have it secured?
Well, I have a chain around it with a lock.
On both the refrigerator and the freezer?
Well, it's one door.
It's only one door?
Yeah.
Is it only a refrigerator?
Yes, just a refrigerator.
Because you do realize
I know a
that-
child or something could unfortunately wind up looking inside it and the door closed.
And I see on here that this court case was resolved on February 25th, and it's now July 11th. Is there any particular reason why between now and past February, there were no changes to the property?
When they had something, a court case about it, I wasn't aware there was going to be a trial that night, and I asked for an attorney. And I said that I have the right to counsel, and I had no representation. And but I'm moving in a positive direction, and I want to go forward and try to complete what I need to do. I sincerely would appreciate.
Mr. Anselmo, can you raise your right hand and repeat after me?
Yes.
I,
I,
your name,
John Anselmo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that the testimony I am giving and have given
the testimony I'm giving and been giving
is truthful,
is truthful,
and I do so to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. You can put down your hand.
May I ask if it's possible, it could be a positive input, someone that has been to the property within the last hour
Sure, if someone would like to come up and speak, they can. Absolutely. Thank you. Go ahead.
I have no problem with that, of course. Mr. Anselmo had mentioned the county health department. The code enforcement officers were actually the ones who had contacted the county health department. But we did not see any of the letters, and I see he has a letter, so I'm just going to ask if he'd be willing to share that with me. I'll take a picture of it or make a copy.
This is not the letter after she re-inspected. This is the initial one.
I'd still like
Yeah,
to see
yeah, sure,
the
yes,
correspondence,
yes,
if you're
yes.
willing to show me.
Yeah, sure, yes, yes.
While he's do,
And if you give me within an hour, I can come back with the other letter since she re-inspected. Yeah,
Mr. Alzamo, I'm a neighbor of yours on,
Pardon me?
I'm a neighbor who lives pretty close to you, and this has been an ongoing problem for years. Years and years. The place is like a slum. And I think there is no further latitude to give you, as far as I'm concerned. It's been a pig pen for years. How you've managed to escape punishment and being forced to remedy the situation for all these years is a mystery to me. And I can certainly tell you, as somebody who lives in the area, that I would not accept any other remedy except this property be completely cleaned. By us if necessary. You've had ample time to do so, and you have chosen not to do it. You seem determined to do things at your pace, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. Well, because that's your privilege. But unfortunately, there are others that live in that neighborhood who don't have to live in a slum. That's all I got to say.
Would anyone else like to speak? Please come up to the mic, state your name and residence, please.
My name is Ralph Scarfliero. I live at 90 Cove Lane, North Bergen, New Jersey. I'm just a friend of Mr. Anselmo's. I happen to be at his property this evening.
To the mic, please.
We can't hear you.
Speak into the mic, I hear you.
Should I start from the beginning?
Yes.
Ralph Scarfliero, North Bergen, New Jersey. I'm a friend of Mr. Anselmo's. I happened to be at the property when the tow truck was removing the first of 3 vehicles. I took some pictures, if you'd like to see that. I understand the frustration of Deputy Mayor Morris, because when I...
before you continue, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Repeat after me. I, state your name,
Ralph Scarfliero,
do solemnly swear or affirm
I am firm
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
will be truthful and honest
will be truthful and honest,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
As I was saying, I feel for Mr. Morris, and when I saw what's going on in his backyard, I told him, you just can't be living over here like Sanford and Son. I wouldn't want to be his neighbor. Even though I'm a good friend of his, I have to tell him my opinion. Although, as the honorable attorney did point out, there are things in the backyard that you would find in the backyard of anybody's house, such as toys, a barbecue, and some tables and chairs. How anybody can get up here and testify that they haven't been used is beyond my comprehension, unless they're living with the person for the last 24 years. And I told John that he has to shake a leg and get on with this project of cleaning up what the town feels should not be appropriately stored in his backyard. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did
Keep
you
the pressure on
actually,
him.
before you sit down, did you actually witness the cars being removed today?
Yes, sir, I took photos if you'd like to see them.
If you could show them to... Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a couple things. Mr. Anselmo had mentioned that at the day of the trial, he didn't have an attorney. The original charges that went to trial in February came about, I believe, were July, so perhaps he was on the August court date of 2015. Mr. Anselmo's been in court many times. The goal of, court is to get compliance on these zoning issues. We gave him, and the court gave him several opportunities. The judge was not unsympathetic to Mr. Anselmo and gave him adjournments. He asked several times for adjournments to obtain counsel. He was given the opportunity to obtain counsel, and he would return without counsel. And the judge quite eloquently put on the record on February 25th that at the previous appearance in January and the one before that in December, he was advised, if you have an attorney or want to get an attorney, have that attorney with you at the next court date. And Mr. Anselmo never showed up with an attorney. So I understand what he's saying. He did proceed without an attorney, and the judge proceeded without Mr. Anselmo having an attorney, only because he had been given so many opportunities before that to obtain counsel and to appear with counsel. We had reasonable discussions. Again, you know, it's a business in there, and we had discussions about trying to resolve the matter. Went to trial, and the judge issued his ruling. But as I said, that's a separate issue. That's done. There's a fine imposed, and that's it. The statute permits something else, and that's what we're seeking now, is to remedy the situation. Mr. Ortiz, I'm going to ask him to also testify. He informed me at about 6 o'clock when I met him here tonight, 6:15, that he had driven by the property and he saw that some of the vehicles were in the process of getting out. But again, if you recall, this was supposed to be on last month, but we adjourned it. So it really was at the 11th hour, you know, that these vehicles were removed. I will say the one change in circumstance is the county health department's being inserted into this situation. That is something that's new. We did send something to them, but they never contacted us to tell us what they did. It's not until Mr. Anselmo mentioned it tonight that they actually went. So that is certainly something worthy of consideration here. The only thing I'll say is, regardless of what the health department does, certainly they have their jurisdiction, but this village also has its jurisdiction. So, you know, and we can address with Mr. Morris, you know, the cases on this and having a hearing are giving the property owner an opportunity to remedy the condition. You know, this has been going on for a very long time, so he has had the opportunity. But again, if the board were inclined, you know, to wait and see what the health department did, that's your prerogative. But frankly, you know, it's a separate issue. The health department, you know, if they go there and the village has cleared it up, he'll get a clean bill of health from the health department, you know, no pun intended. But, and they've certainly gone after certain issues that we didn't have. I saw on his, the soffit damages, I guess it's indicating large holes for animals to enter, so that's certainly a health concern.
Health concern.
No, I understand, but
Right.
for inside the house. But, you know, at this point, this is where we are, but I just wanted to make that point about the court case that, you know, the judge, our office, have been trying to work with Mr. Anselmo to get him to take care of this himself. The village doesn't want to be in the business of going to people's property and cleaning it up, but when it has to act, it will act, and that's why we're here. But I would ask Mr. Ortiz to testify at this point about what he observed tonight. Yeah. And for the record, I'm giving Mr. Anselmo back his 2 documents.
Thank you.
I want to speak. I may still speak, right?
Yes.
I want to make a mention that I'm proud of. The front of my house is very attractive at any time. And I also want to make a point of mentioning there is major construction going on within 5 feet of my house. There is constantly, which it's all an improvement. I mean, there's an excavation machine there, there's a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of work that's been done very efficiently and very quickly, and it's moving in a good direction with the house next to me. But it's not finished. There's a lot of work to still go on, and I really want everyone to understand, when the town came to the property, they were there 3.5 hours with the dumpsters and threw everything of mine in the dumpsters. Lawnmowers that I used, my tools, cabinets, there's pictures, there's movies of it, because they took upon themselves to call Channel 12 News to have it filmed. So it's on record as to what they did with the possessions of mine that I've worked hard for earnestly, and they just kept throwing them. And I asked for, at the time, which my attorney says, make sure you get an itemized list of what they're taking from you. And they proceeded to take it to the township landfill and dump it there. Now, I have raised my voice. I have the right to speak, and I am speaking from the heart because of the fact that was not right, that was not proper. So let's not try to go and have a show of force. I'm earnestly going in the right direction. I have the clarity to understand that someone is investing heavily in the house next to me. And I'm proud of the fact that he's doing that. And I don't want to impede anyone's progress. I want to bring closure to all of this. And I think of the fact that as being a senior citizen and being here this amount of time, I would appreciate if you take some of that in your decision, because you've been very gracious in the past, because I don't think you had enough input properly. As I said, that's pretty serious when you take and give someone an opportunity to come and just take everything in 3.5, 4 hours just to turn the world upside down.
Okay, so we'll take all of that into consideration.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have a plan? Do you have a time frame? What are you going to do? What are you proposing?
Well, I think that it's proper that you have a meeting on August 8th, and I'll conform to that. I've heard that date mentioned tonight. I have an appointment already with the county officer that she's coming back on July 28th, and her office has been productive. I would conform to what time you have, because I can honestly say I can go to a garage sale and see items like that all in the driveway and on the lawn on a weekend. And then they're gone.
Well, let me ask you this, because you really didn't answer my question. I said, do you have a plan? Do you have a time frame?
To conform, to conform with the 28th of July within that time frame, before the other inspector comes back.
So your plan is to have everything addressed by July 28th?
Yes, sir.
Would you object to the board authorizing a resolution to have the cleanup of your property, but stayed until July 29th?
That gives you nearly 3 weeks.
Friday.
I would feel more comfortable if you made it just before the 8th of August.
Well, I'm sure you would, but...
All right.
In other words, you want me to conform to that date, the 29th?
Well, I'm throwing it out there. It's up to the board as to what actually...
I agree to it, Your Honor. Yes.
So
I appreciate your input. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else from the board that would like to speak? From the public that would like to speak? Mr. Ortiz? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Okay. Come on up. You could come on up, please.
The tape is almost ready to run out when I go like that.
I am John Martin. I'm the owner of 25 Hillside.
He wants to be sworn in.
And that's not my ringtone. I feel very alone right now. I, John Martin,
do solemnly swear
do
or
solemnly
affirm
swear
that the testimony I'm about to give will be truthful and honest
truthful and honest
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, I'm the owner of 25 Hillside. We took possession of the property around the end of April, beginning of May. As John mentioned, we've been pretty aggressive in our approach to renovating the property. As you all know, it was basically, left in disrepair, both inside and outside, and was an eyesore. And we've been moving very quickly. We've been respectful to the neighbors with regards to noise, in terms of working on the weekends. So while we may want to move faster, we've kept that to a minimum. We have worked on some Saturdays, I will say that, but albeit it was more in the intention of getting a roof on the house so we could actually work inside. If you've gone by the property, the house right now is, looks like a little bit of a mismatch. It has a new roof on it. All the rough-ins are going in now. New windows, siding will be on by the end of, hopefully the end of next week, if not the week after. So at that point, aesthetically, from the outside...
Excuse me, sir, can you just hold on? We need to change the recording tape.
No problem.
Good, Virginia?
Not yet.
AV1? AV1 has been changed.
Okay.
Good? Good. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Continue.
No problem. So at that point, the outside of the house will look dramatically better than as it appears today. In terms of my situation with the neighbor, John's been very, very cordial with me. I have commented on the yard. He has told me that he wishes to address it. My only concern is getting it addressed in a timely manner. And that's, I know that's really what everyone's comment is about. I will just offer my opinion. I'm not from this standpoint, a shed expert. You cannot fit 4 sheds, all the things in that backyard, into 4 sheds of 10 by 10, so basically 400 square feet.
You wouldn't be allowed to. You're only allowed to have 1.
Okay, well, even one, let's just say it was permitted at, I would say, 20 by 20 with 2 stories. You wouldn't be able to fit all of the items in there and have it be covered.
Right.
So obviously the removal of the car, for me, the removal of the cars are of interest, but it's just more of bringing the property to where it's more aesthetically pleasing. As you may know, we did add a deck on the back of the house, which gives me now an elevated view of that, and that obviously is problematic, has made it that much more. The other thing, and you mentioned the Board of Health, and my other concern would be, and I don't have any basis for this other than this is just my own personal concern. Anyone living there would have this. As we go to sell the house, I'm sure any potential buyer is going to ask me the question of, if that's what the outside looks like, what does the inside look like? And to me, that's the more broader health issue, is we may be able to clean up aesthetically, but I do ask that when the Board of Health comes and looks at it, that they're looking at it from that vantage point as well. I'm perfectly fine with the timeline that you talked about. The 29th, I would be even willing to go to August 8th. That I'm not suggesting you do that, but we definitely need a timeline, and we need, I would say, not only a timeline, but checkpoints along the way, so that we know that if it should be August 8th and it's August 7th, we don't determine that, oh my God, because it's going to be, I don't envy that cleanup. And so whatever that timeline happens to be, I'm supportive of something that is near term and gets us all to where I think everybody collectively would like to be. And so we can have Hillside be that much much, much more beautiful than it is now.
Great, thank you. Suffern, we have a code enforcement division here in Suffern that prides itself in having the village in order in regards to property maintenance, in regards to overcrowding. These are issues of everyday concern to us here in the village and to the residents. And that's why we have a public hearing, to have everyone's voices heard and how they feel about the condition overall of the village, be it a house, property maintenance, overcrowding, and this is why we welcome the feedback. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Ortiz? I state your name.
Randy Ortiz,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I'm about to give
the testimony I'm about to give
will be truthful and honest
will be truthful and honest
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you.
So I've been an employee of the village since 2006, and I believe in 2007 or 2008, I don't remember the exact year, was cleanup number one with John Lineski, the prior code enforcement officer, where we went in there and cleaned out the property. I don't know if everybody's aware of this, I just want to make sure everybody knows, that we went in there and cleaned out the property with two 30-yard dumpsters. And when I say dumpsters, we packed everything into, we had dumpsters put on the ground, they were filled up with by village employees, and the items were taken down to the village garage for storage. And Mr. Anselmo came and took all of the items out of those containers someplace. In 2014, and over a period of time, stuff came back there. And some of the stuff that came back there was stuff that was taken out the first time and came back there. In 2014, we did it again. We took out two 30-yard containers of stuff off the property. And so that was 14, 15, it was like 2 years ago. And as you can see in the pictures, you see what we're looking at. Again, it's all back again. And Mrs. Hertzman, the refrigerator was something that I spotted this afternoon for the first time because we didn't go on that side of the property to take pictures because we weren't able to get permission from the neighbor to go on the property at that time. I was able to get it tonight on the neighbor's property. And I noticed the refrigerator, which I have a picture of I could show you, and it is not chained closed. And it clearly shows it in the picture. And I just wanted to let everybody know that it's twice been cleaned up before, and everything came back. And the refrigerator's laying down. It's not up in the air where it's an extension cord plugged into it and it's chained up with cold drinks in it. It's laying on the ground for the rain and everything to go in it and make it better.
The doors are open? I mean, the water's able to get in?
It's laying on its side.
Right. Grounds for
So,
some mosquitoes.
I don't know what kind of condition it can be in
breeding.
to put beverages in. I guess that's all I really have. I just want to make sure everybody's aware that.
Well, can you comment on the pictures that you were showing of the vehicles?
The vehicle, when I went there tonight, I wanted to just make sure prior to this, if anything had changed, since Mike and I were there Saturday, and there was a flatbed tow truck, and it was removing, I saw them removing one vehicle, perhaps there's more had gone. I don't know if he took any more out in that time frame from then till 7:30, but that was around 6 o'clock. So I don't know. I saw one vehicle going up on the flatbed when I was there, one of the four.
Okay.
If there's two more gone, possibly, but I didn't see that. I saw one going on the flatbed. So yes, the flatbed was there, taking at least one vehicle out.
All right, great, thank you. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? Yes.
First of all, I want to say is that is it Ortez? But anyhow, I believe he gave a good assertion in what he said. I want to say that. But there is someone here that was at my property, and he could come up and give testimony that he did see other vehicles besides what Mr. Ortez mentioned that's physically been taken away. And the truck that was there when Mr. Ortiz was there is capable, he was a multiple car carrier, and...
Okay, if there was one car taken away, or two, or three, or four, we still have an existing condition that we're going to address tonight, so that would be perfectly fine if four were gone or two were gone.
Thank you, I appreciate your courtesy, and I want to try to proceed in a
Great.
positive way. Thank you.
I'm interested. Mr. Ortiz testified that this has happened at least on 2 other occasions, and that at least on one of the occasions, you came back and you took all the stuff that they had picked up, and that you returned a lot of it, if I've heard correctly, back to the outside of the property.
Well, that's an assumption that he made, and I don't agree with it, and he has the right to make that assumption. I wasn't capable of getting what was taken from me because there physically wasn't, it wasn't there at any, I didn't get all of it back. It was taken away and it was dumped in a dump, and I was never able to get all of my items. And I do say that I can share with...
Well, at least with the 2012 incident, I heard that it wasn't taken to the dump, that it was taken to the garage, and that you were able to come back.
One dumpster was taken to the town DPW, and one was taken to the landfill, in Suffern's landfill, down by the ball field. That's physically what took place.
Mr. Ortiz would like to comment on that.
What we did was, we only had one dumpster. On the 2014 job, we only had one dumpster. So what we did was, we went down to, not to the landfill, we went to what we call Bunker Hill, which is where the composting used to be done for the village. And it's a nice flat area with a soft area there. And we gingerly slid the stuff out of, the first load out of the dumpster onto the ground there, onto the peat moss. And it was all down there. And that was, he took all that stuff out of there, or at least the majority of it was taken back to wherever, I don't really know. And then the other stuff was left in the dumpster that he was able to pick through and eventually take out.
Okay, follow-up question, if you don't mind. What's your plans to do with the stuff in the backyard? What are you going to do with it?
I have to remove it, and the only, the most immediate plan would be to get a storage container that you can get from a vendor that they will bring. It says store your stuff. You can get that and store it in there and then remove it from there. That's immediately, because I looked at the situation to just remedy this as quick as possible. And there is a lot of things there that I don't have use for in the future that I'm going to discard. I'm going to get rid of.
When you say storage container, a storage container that you plan on keeping on site, or a storage container at a building?
You have a situation, you can rent a storage facility, or you can get one of them delivered with a permit. You could get one delivered to your driveway. And sometimes people now recently, when they're going to move, they store their things in there and then they have it taken away. But I ultimately have been talking to the building department about getting another shed.
Okay.
Ask if anyone else.
Okay, is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on this issue? Thank you, Mr. Anselmo.
And I might say that my neighbor at this time, the man that has building the house next door, I think he was pretty gracious with his conversation.
Yes, he was.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, so I have before me a resolution for 27 Hillside.
Yes, did you want to close the public portion, and then I'll propose the resolution?
Sure. Okay, so at this time, I'd like the motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion
Yes, I'm going to
passes.
propose that the village board consider this resolution. I'll skim through it. There are some things I'm going to take out that had been in, and just make a couple of changes, but generally speaking, and I'll provide an updated copy to Ms. Menschner. The first paragraph is the same, but the reason we have all the whereas clauses is just so that, it's laid out as to the history of this and why it's there, and starts with, and this is the resolution, whereas on or about February 25th, 2016, John Anselmo, as owner and occupant of the premises located at 27 Hillside Avenue, was found guilty after trial in Suffern Justice Court of violating Section 266-15L of the Village Code of the Village of Suffern by permitting outdoor storage of goods and junk on the property, and 205-3 of the Village Code by unlawfully parking and storing unregistered vehicles on the property, which were alleged to have occurred on July 8, 2015. And whereas on or about March 31st, 2016, Michael Stark, Code Enforcement Officer of the Village of Suffern, served by personal delivery 2 notices of violation upon John Anselmo as owner and occupant of the premises for violation of 205-3 of the Village Code, notifying Mr. Anselmo that the property remained in violation with respect to storage of vehicles, litter, debris, garbage, junk, which constitute health, safety, and physical hazard, in which notices of violation are annexed and incorporated herein. Whereas the notice advised that violation was to be remedied on or before 5 p.m. on April 29th, 2016, or within 30 days of the notice, whichever was later. Upon failure to do so, the village reserved the right to take appropriate remedial action pursuant to Section 205-6. Whereas the condition not having been remedied within the time frame set forth by statute or in the notice, and the conditions having in fact been observed to have worsened by the addition of unregistered vehicles and additional junk and debris. The village provided notice of a public hearing to consider a resolution permitting the village to undertake to remedy the property maintenance condition at the property and charge the cost thereof to the property owner on the next regular tax bill pursuant to the Suffern Village Code, Section 205-6C. Whereas said notice was published in the Journal News and served via personal delivery upon John Anselmo at the property, and by posting of the notice at the property as to the date and the time of the public hearing in a matter of public hearing having been held on July 11, 2016, wherein John Anselmo and the public having a right to be heard and having been heard, and whereas the village board determined after said public hearing that the action to remedy conditions is desirable for the good government of the village, the protection of its property, safety, health, comfort, and general welfare of its inhabitants, and protection of their property, now be it resolved that the village is hereby authorized to undertake to remedy the property maintenance condition at the property pursuant to Section 205-6 of the Village Code of the Village of Suffern, to undertake appropriate action to remedy the condition by removing any such litter, garbage, junk, or unregistered vehicles, and instituting appropriate legal actions or proceedings if necessary to do so. Be it further resolved that the cost to the village to undertake remedying of this property condition pursuant to Village Code 205-6 shall be charged to the owner of such property on next regular tax bill forwarded to such owner by the village, and said charge shall be due and payable by said owner at the time of payment of such bill. I'm taking out that second to last paragraph. Then go to be it further resolved, the mayor or his designee is authorized to take such steps as is necessary to enforce this resolution. And if you want to add, which shall not be executed prior to, if you want to add July 29th, 2016, August 1, 2016, that's up to you. If you want it to be immediate, you can make it immediate.
Immediate. What do you think? Okay, so let's say today is, hold on, today's the 11th.
29th is a Friday.
July 18th, to remove any personal belongings that may exist within the debris field, or in the cars, or in the washing machines.
And again, I think it's the intention to do as last time and give him an opportunity, if he wants to store it, to store it. I mean,
So that gives them a week.
Again, we can give, which shall not be executed prior to July 18th, if you want to say that. In other words, you're authorizing the resolution, it's going to take place, but not before July 18th.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me, giving them a week to remove any personal items that may exist.
Don't limit it to personal items,
All right.
just to,
Well, to
Remedy.
remedy the condition.
Remedy the
Whatever's not
condition.
remedied will be removed.
Okay.
To the extent
to the
it's-
satisfaction of the code enforcement officer.
Mr. Anselmo, you said that you already made inquiry with a pod service. So if you want to keep your belongings, you have an opportunity to bring in a pod, have those belongings put in there and stored away. But you've had more than ample opportunity. You knew that this was coming down the pike. It's not the first time. If you want to keep your stuff, get it out of the backyard. And you have a week.
I don't know about the pod.
Well, I was just going to say, just to
Right.
be
Well, so
clear,
long as the pod goes
No, you
off-site
can't-
again, that's up to you to pay that rental charge. It's the same as off-premise.
You can't keep it on the site.
I think it's pertinent that if something was to be instituted, that the village was going to take and remove. I would want an itemized list of whatever they want to remove.
Sure, that would be provided to you. If we take this action, and we do pass this resolution, and we move to remove your property, there'll be an itemized list provided to you.
And then last 11th hour, please ask, please order the lease. I have to do this myself.
July, I'm making a recommendation for July 18th into the resolution, and this will be voted on by the board.
There isn't any extension time asked for. I'm willing to
You've had since February 25th.
Okay, Mr. Magrino, so if that could reflect in the resolution, July 18th,
right, and then, as read into the record, I'd ask that somebody make a motion to
yes, do I have a
accept that
motion?
resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Joe Russo made a motion.
Mr. Russo makes the resolution, do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any further discussion? No. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank everyone. Okay.
Randy. Mike.
Okay.
Mike. Do you need these or these for us? Do you need these?
Do we have anybody that could volunteer? Do we have anybody that could volunteer to see operation in the church?
I don't know, I'll find out. It's a good one.
It's a quarter
Mr. Yodowitz.
Thank God. Thank you.
Yeah, we're giving Dan and, okay.
I'm shaking.
I'm like comfortable and now I want to get hot. Never mind, yeah, come on. We're taking a break.
Okay, let's continue with the village resolution that's before me now. Mr. Anselmo, if you could have this discussion after. I have a resolution before me reappointing Robert Yodowitz as village prosecutor for the village of Suffern on a contract basis effective August 1st, 2016 through July 31st, 2017. Yeah. So whereas Robert Yodowitz has served as the village of Suffern as its prosecutor for vehicle and traffic and zoning violations with distinction, and whereas the Board of Trustees wishes to continue its contract with him for said services, which is set to expire on July 31st, 2016, and whereas the District Attorney's Office, by a letter dated July 6, 2016, has provided the requisite Sickle letter for him to perform those duties. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby reappoints Robert Yodowitz to the position of village prosecutor for the period of August 1st, 2016 through July 31st, 2017, on a flat fee basis of $1,500 per month, subject to the execution of a formal contract for said services. Be it further resolved that the mayor is authorized to sign said contract on behalf of the village board. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, Mr. Yodowitz has been the village prosecutor for many years now and has provided the village a great service and has showed exemplary service to the village of Suffern and the court. So I really would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Yodowitz, and we welcome you back again for another year of success. Thank you.
This one.
Okay.
I'll make you a copy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, fire department update. Chief Salmon, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Village Board.
Good evening.
Just a couple of quick topics. This coming Sunday, July 17th, the Hose Company is going to have its annual car show. It's a fundraiser. It's going to be on Washington Avenue in the Avon parking lot. And also, this past weekend, the Suffern Fire Department took part in the 166th Annual Port Jervis Parade, where we actually took two different trophies this past weekend. One was for marching trophy. The other one was for second place apparatus, our 2009 Seagrave engine. That is it after a busy month of June, where we took part in the house fire on Bridge Street, and then also the fire up in Hilburn at the Con Ed plant on Torn Valley Road.
All right, you guys did a great job on that response. That was a all-hands effort, I guess, huh?
Yes, very long.
All right, perfect. You guys did a great job, thank you. And we also hung your photo of the hook and ladder and the engine company up in Village Hall. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yes, prominently displayed.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
They do a good job.
They do.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Miss Kathy Mills, Culture and Recreation, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Village Board.
Good evening.
We have a very busy July, so here's a few events that are coming up. Clifford Theater began July 5th, and we have rehearsals here in the auditorium Monday through Friday from 5:30 to 8:30. Tomorrow night, which is Tuesday, July 12th, we have a pool party with the magician Silly Willy tomorrow night. So kids are invited to come to the pool. It's a free admission, and the magician will be there, and the kids get to have games and activities at the pool. So that's tomorrow, starting at 6:30, going to 8 o'clock. We have a concert coming up, Country Fresh, a wonderful country band, will be playing on Wednesday, July 13th, at the gazebo at 7 o'clock. It's a free event. It's great entertainment for the family, great entertainment for the village over at the gazebo, and that's at 7 p.m. That is rain or shine, so if the weather unfortunately will go bad, we will have it inside, but we're going to hope for good weather the day of the concert. Family Day, which is always a fun event here for the village, will be at the pool, Suffern Memorial Pool, on Sunday, July 17th, and the activities start at 12 p.m. I wrote here 3, but it goes from 12 to 3 activities, and it's a fun day. There'll be hot dogs, they'll have refreshments, we will have activities. We're theming the Family Day this year after Olympic Day, after the Olympics that are coming up here in this summer. So there'll be red, white, and blue all over at the pool, so hopefully people will come down and enjoy some great activities. So we're looking forward to that. The next concert will be Thursday, July 28th, and that will be the Reflections Band, which is the big band. That will be at 7 p.m. over at the gazebo. And then Clifford Theater is going to be having 2 nights of performances on Friday, July 29th, here in the auditorium. The first show will be at 7 p.m. on Friday, July 29th. The show this year is Jekyll and Hyde. And then on Saturday, July 30th, we will be having performances at 1 p.m. and at 8 p.m. So originally, I think in the calendar, even it might say 2 and 7, but 1 o'clock and 8 o'clock is the new time for the performances of Jekyll and Hyde. And then the last thing we have right now is the children's concert, which is always such a huge hit for families in Suffern, on Monday, August 1st. That will be the last concert for the summer, and that will be, again, on Monday, August 1st at 7 p.m.
Great. Thank you. Your last concert was very good.
Yes. the
Magic Touch.
Magic
Can't say
Touch.
the Magic Touch. I'm
Correct.
saying Magic Touch.
You
You guys missed a great performance. They were a
really
great a cappella band, and they were very funny,
Yeah.
comical.
They're a good group, very,
Right.
very good group.
And the pool opening was a big success.
Yes, it
Thank
was.
you. Thank you to the
You're
staff.
Yes.
You know, you guys are doing a great job in recreation.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All right. We look forward to everything else coming up.
Excellent.
Great job.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Mr. Fred Rella. Here's the man with good news.
Well, I'll save the good news for a little bit later, but I want to update everybody on the Downtown Revitalization Grant, the $10 million grant opportunity, which we put in for. New York State has regional economic development councils. They have 10 of them, and they've divided the state up into these 10 councils. We fall in the Mid-Hudson Council, which is comprised of 6 counties, okay? And they're awarding a $10 million grant to each council, to one municipality for downtown revitalization. So we were competing against all the municipalities within a 6-county region, a very populous county region, needless to say, versus when you look way up north. And it did go to the city of Middletown. I've done some due diligence efforts to find out, because they were going to come up with a short list of like 5 or 6 candidates, and then they were going to be interviewed, and then they were going to select from that. They're being very closed veil. They're not releasing who the other candidates were as far as the short list. So I have a call in to the head of the department to find out a little bit more about what's going on. I felt our application was strong. They said our application was very good, and that's all they were telling me. But I reminded them that our application, we had the support of Rockland County, the support of the town of Ramapo, the support of Assemblywoman Jaffe, the support of Senator Carlucci, the support of the Rockland Economic Development Council, the support of the Rockland Industrial Council, and I can't imagine anybody else within Rockland County having all of this support, because when I was talking to them about it, they didn't even know about this. So, like when I talked to the chiefs of staff and alike. So, anyway, I just want to find out really what transpired with that. So I was a little disappointed that we didn't at least make the short list. Community Development Block Grant, which is offered by it's HUD money, and it comes out of the Rockland County Office of Community Development. I'm very happy to say we were awarded $110,000 for the Wayne Avenue Sidewalk and Curb Project. So that's something which is very important, considering that there was a death on that road a few years ago. One thing to be aware of is the project was going to go on the north side, which is where the old firehouse was, okay, all the way from where Orange Avenue is, all the way up to the thruway, okay, sidewalks and curbs. Total cost of the project is $220,000 estimated. So we got $110,000. We have to contribute 10% ourselves, so that's another 11, so we're at 121. So we have to make a determination. Do we want to make it a little bit shorter, like maybe not do something down further near Orange Avenue, or do we want to contribute more money and do the full length as expected? So this money cannot be even expensed until September, so there's time to make those types of decisions as to what one would want to do.
All right, so we're going to have to go out there with the Mr. Zawicki, and we're going to have to evaluate the need for the sidewalks and the curbs, and as we did on Orange Avenue, and then we'll, we have time to make this determination.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Fred, we are limited and restricted to the north side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then one final thing, with the Environmental Facilities Corporation, with the sewer abatement project. I'm working with Charles on this. And also Danielle, currently also has been very helpful in helping with the applications. Phase 1, which is a little over $1 million, we put in for a grant opportunity, and it would help offset 25% of the cost, which is, around $260,000. So that would be great. We should know about that hopefully within the next 60 days.
And what was that? I'm sorry.
The sewer abatement project,
Right.
Phase 1, which is up on
James.
Woodland Avenue,
Oh,
James Street.
James Street, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, great, thank you. Excellent job on getting that $110,000 for the north side of Wayne Avenue. They really do need some curb repair. We need a lot of work on Wayne Avenue. But this is the beginning. Thank you. Tonight, the police chief is not available to give his report. He is down in the village of Nyack at an ongoing protest, and he is serving in a police chief's capacity, I guess, down there. But to that note,
He will have on Friday his support of the Dallas Police Department T-shirts available.
Yes.
Starting Friday.
hold on, I had a couple of notes here, let me just find it.
Will you look at their notes here?
Ed, I have the information for the T-shirts if need be.
What?
I can.
He has it up if you need it.
Oh, no, I was looking for something else. I can't find it, hold on. Okay. Well, just for the police department, so everyone is here, they have implemented a park, walk, and talk on Lafayette Avenue. I know that was requested by some residents, so they are parking a vehicle down on Lafayette Avenue, and the officer is going out and doing foot patrol. He also collected some speed data, the Village of Suffern Police Department collected speed data off of Ramapo Avenue. And also, we are installing the speed bumps, the temporary speed bumps on Memorial Drive in and around, not in the pool, around the pool area. And the yellow curbing under the Chestnut Street underpass has been painted with additional signage. So we're taking heed to concerns of the citizens of the village in regards to safety in the village. So these are the few items that we have been pursuing over the last couple of weeks.
I can vouch that the memorial speed bump is in place.
Oh, okay.
I found about it on the way here.
Is that all there is going on?
No, there's going to be two.
Yeah.
There's only one in?
We call him a speed pimple.
Speed pimple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're making headway. Safety first. Okay, Mr. Charles Sawicki.
Good evening, Mayor and the Board. I am requesting payment authorization for application of payment number 1 for the Community Development Block Grant Right-of-Way Improvement Project. This payment will be made to Bella Vista Construction Corporation in the amount of $111,397.
Okay, so I have before me the resolution authorizing payment to Bella Vista Corporation Construction for the CDBG right-of-way improvement project, curbs and sidewalks. Resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes payment number 1 in the amount of $111,397 to Bella Vista Construction Corporation for the CDBG right-of-way improvement project. The AIA document G702-1992, that's the application and certification for payment, and the certified payrolls have been reviewed by Charles Sawicki, and he has determined that everything is in order. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Charles, since it's CDBG, does the village get reimbursed for that?
Yes, actually, Fred and I had some discussion about that today, and that's a reimbursement, so we have to make the payment, and then we show proof that the payment was made.
It's a reimbursement.
Yes.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Made that motion.
Wait, Mr. Sawicki, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
It was,
Frank and Joe.
it was brought up, I believe, last month, on the south side then of Haverstraw Road, where a lot of that work's been done, and the sidewalks that are concrete had been repaired with blacktop.
You're talking about Route 202 Wayne Avenue, right? Okay.
Oh, what did I say?
I think it says Haverstraw Road, Haverstraw Avenue? It's a little further up, yeah.
Do we know yet when that's going to be fixed?
They have done some concrete repair work, and they will continue to do that work. Matter of fact, the mayor and I have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow morning with O&R to get some of these items resolved, primarily Wayne Avenue. So we'll have a better understanding of the timing sometime, tomorrow in that meeting.
Okay.
But it will be done. We have their commitment that it will be done. It just...
Is that, and you're talking of the concrete work itself, right?
Right.
Right, and the concrete work, what they were doing was holding off, and they were going to complete all the concrete work at once. So everything that needed concrete, they could come in and just, is that correct?
Well, that was
Right.
our, the discussion we had with O&R.
Right.
That was my understanding, but...
Well, it all kind of leads in because, we did all of that extensive sidewalk work in advance of the roads being paved, and I'm assuming at some point, the horrifying roads around here will be paved. So I was just wondering if that concrete work would get done first.
The concrete work will be done first, before the milling and repaving.
Do we have a target date yet?
No, but we've had a number of meetings with them, and the last meeting, it seemed that O&R had implied that'd be done by mid-July. But anyway, I think we'll have a better understanding of the schedule tomorrow. Okay? Okay.
Thank you.
Is that the same for the Lafayette Avenue?
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open up the meeting to audience participation. Do we have anyone from the public
Schedule, I think.
that would like to speak? Please come up and state your name and address.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the board. My name is Roy Chudy, 16 Lonigan Drive. A couple of things I'd like to speak about, please. First, I'd like to thank the DPW crew and Mr. Joe Hunt for doing such a bang-up, wonderful job on the basketball courts and the aesthetics that they put down at Don Hallett Park. It's just absolutely fantastic. Kids are down there every day now playing, as opposed to being in the street and running the risk of injury. I'd also like to thank Mr. Crotty, Peter Crotty, and the Crotty Foundation for funding this. Just a wonderful foundation. They believe in giving back, and I can't thank them enough for what they've done for the youth of not only Squires Gate, but the village. So I appreciate that very much.
I'll relay that to them.
I was wondering, not to drop a little bomb on you, but maybe sometime in August, if it's possible, if we could set up for the youth like a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. I'd be glad to referee. Maybe somebody else would like to volunteer, where we can get the kids some shirts and maybe a couple of trophies, if that's possible, and just to have
That's a great idea. Maybe we'll discuss that, Kathy, a basketball game down at Howlett.
Yeah, we'll pick a date, maybe a Saturday or so.
Would you like to send me an email on that, Mr. Schutte?
Will you read it? I'd send you more than one.
It's not just me.
I would like to also address something on with the DEC. July 1st, we had a major storm hit Suffern for a few hours, a little bit, and we had some very heavy rainfall. I did do I filmed a little of the outfall pipe that's located on one of the 29 outfall pipes that's located on the Boulevard Bridge, coming down into the Mawa River. I believe I showed you that, so this way you could have an idea of the amount of water that comes through at any one time and can present some damage in the form of erosion, silt, sedimentation, all things that the DEC and the EPA find in violation. So I dropped off some material for the board today. I would hope you have it.
Yes, I have it in front of me.
This is the same material. You probably already have it because I did give it to former Mayor Abato, so it's probably in your files. So I don't want to be redundant on it.
You already submitted this?
I submitted that to Mayor Abato.
Okay. This is the first time I'm seeing it, just so you know that
It should be in the files. I submitted it.
Unfortunately, there were no files. So
I know it's on the computer because I put it, I sat there with her, we went over on the computer and...
no written files, no computer files.
Excuse me?
There's no written files or computer files left behind. So
There was some dust
you
and a
sent us
paperclip.
today is the first time we're getting a chance to look at it.
Okay, so then this will be the second time I'm presenting this.
Suffice it to say, anything that you may have given the village in the past, it would probably behoove us if you gave it to us again.
So then this is the first time bringing this to your attention, and so, please bear with me a second.
Sure.
If you look on the one page here, the first page that you have, it says the need for stormwater management. I'll just quickly highlight a few things. It says stormwater runoff also increases the volume and rate at which water moves across the land and into lakes and streams, leading to erosion and flooding. Protecting local quality of life by managing stormwater. Unless stormwater runoff is controlled, it always harms local quality of life, whether through high visibility occurrences such as floods and washouts, or through subtler and more pervasive rates or volumes can be more significant than those attributable to the contaminants found in the stormwater discharges. Studies link increased stormwater flows due to urbanization to stream degradation are generally lacking in quantitative data. There are a number of studies that support this hypothesis, and some of which are the increase in the number of bankful events, increased peak flow rates, sedimentation and increased sediment transport, frequent flooding, stream bed scouring and habitat degradation, and aesthetic degradation. The amount of runoff generated within a watershed increases steadily with development, which we all know. Moving on to the next page, routine operation and maintenance of local facilities offer many opportunities to improve stormwater management with minimum cost, such as restoration/protection of stream buffers, wetlands through grants, retrofitting storm sewer systems, and other runoff control measures. Grants can be available, so I would ask that if we could have our grant writer do a little inquisition there to see if we could get that. Under the EPA, it says preventing erosion, sedimentation, and flooding. Managing the rate and amount of stormwater runoff requires measures that slow the water's flow, preventing it from leaving the site too rapidly. Flow impacts. The volume and flow rate of stormwater discharges can have significant impacts on receiving streams. And separate from this, we have something called the Rockland County Stream Control Act, which was effective July 1st, 1976. And in that legislative intent and report, the purpose was for the alleviation of recurring flood damage to public and private property, the prevention of damage to public health, because as we all know, when it floods, you get all the other muck and mire that comes with it, and safety resulting from floods in Rockland County. It's been declared a matter of concern by the state, by the state legislature. Just to highlight two things, three things. It says preventing damage from erosion, turbidity, siltation, and saltwater intrusion. And of course, preventing the danger of flood damage and pollution, and natural drainage systems. I could go on and on this, as we all know, ad nauseum. I have eight different examples of outfall devices that may be purchased through grants.
Hold on, I'm sorry, Mr. Schutte. Let's change audio visual too now.
Okay.
AV2 good? Good. Sorry, go ahead, continue, sir.
Okay, thank you. I have 8 different examples of outfall devices that might be able to be purchased via grants that would help impede the amount of stormwater that comes through and the flow rate, along with catch basins that would prevent other pollutants such as bottles or anything else that would wash down into the river. So I believe I included that in the
Yes, in the package. Do you happen to have an extra copy of this that I can give to the DPW director?
I do. You can have this one.
Thank you.
So again, if that can be looked at in some manner or form, that would be appreciated. I know you're doing, Mr. Morris, Trustee Morris has gone up and looked at the quarry again. We just received the county the $250,000 through a bond issue to put a mechanism into.
Yes, Mr. Ed Day, our county executive, had introduced that to the legislature for $250,000 of modeling, a hydraulic modeling of Lake Antrim and
I would like to
portions of the river.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming with me this past week and attending that legislative hour or two, and we got to speak on behalf of it, and you were very eloquent in support of this. So I want to thank you as a Squires Gate resident and somebody who represents our area, and because of the flooding issue, you know how near and dear that is to me, and I'm on a crusade. I admit it, and I don't look at party lines. I don't look at Democrats. I don't look at Republicans. I don't care if Fidel Castro came down here and says, "I'll fix it." Well, that's who I'm looking for. If I just want the problem fixed, and I know even if it's done so incrementally, a little at a time, it's as opposed to what is being done in the past and what has been promised by certain senators or assembly people, and through speech and not action. I'm glad to see that something in a positive step moving forward is being done.
Well, Mr. Schutte, just so you know that the $250,000 for the hydraulic study is in place. We also accomplished getting $150,000 in flood barriers through the county and through the legislature. We also now, I sit on the board for the Bergen, Rockland River Committee, and by-state committee, which funds will be made available also. So, I mean, like you said, incremental steps, there's steps in the right direction, or at least there's some type of action taking place.
I appreciate that, thank you. And I'd like to ask Mr. Russo if he wouldn't mind holding down the noise a little bit, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't hear what he said. I didn't hear it.
That was funny.
What did he say? So that for Kathy, and so that we could put them in the minutes?
This here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But you're going to give it back to me.
Oh, you know why you...
I'm giving this to Miss Menschner, and she will return it.
I've given back everything.
Okay. Your name and address, please, Mr.
Joe Maraglino, 65 Wayne Avenue.
Thank you.
To start off with, yes, on Wayne Avenue, our sidewalks were repaired. They removed the asphalt, and they came out fairly decent, so whatever they patched up, they did it. walking around and seeing, sometimes when it does rain, I mentioned this before, especially in front of number 50 Wayne Avenue, where the apartment complex is, they have a storm drain that is completely filled up with muck. Rosemary, who lives there, says there's another one that was accidentally covered up about a year ago when they repaved the bottom of that driveway. So there was actually 2 drains there at one time. Well, more than a year ago. So,
Right next to, relatively close to each other in front of 50?
one's on the side where the number of the apartment complex is. It's like a...
Near the driveway?
Yeah. It's on the bottom of the hill, though. Yes.
One on the other side, and then the driveway is always filled.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know who, I'm assuming...
Can you, yeah, I'm sorry. Can you come on up to the microphone, please? And just state your name.
What's up here, Mayor?
Rosemary Brennan, 50 Wayne Avenue. There, over 20 years I've been living in the apartment building. There was always 2 drainage things. The one is over on the far end of the driveway, and the other one is near 50 near the end of the driveway. If you were going up it would be on your left side. But somebody, I don't know who did, I'm assuming landlord repairing bottom of driveway, their people covered up the one.
Is there any sign of it at all, or is it totally covered?
Totally covered.
With what?
Mr. Zawicki, are we aware of this catch basin that is totally covered in front of 50 Wayne? All right. Can we take a look at those 2? The one that's definitely visible and clogged.
That's in the grass on the right side. The other one would be where the sign for the address is. It's down on the bottom of the driveway down there.
What's the address?
50 Wayne.
Determination sounds like it's going to be either in the right of way, which is DOT right of way.
Right.
They're responsible for catch basins and that, contacted, or it might be the apartment complex.
Okay. We're going to be tomorrow together at a meeting at 10. So after the meeting, we'll take a look at that and address this. I know that this was brought up previously.
Yeah, the reason I mention it is because anytime there's a substantial amount of rain, it's a lake. We're
going to look at it tomorrow.
The other thing is, I was walking down Pavilion Road. As you go down the hill, there's another storm drain in the grassy area. After you pass by the thruway, it's a fence. You go there, and a lot of debris from the thruway actually goes under that fence. And it was like, dirt, debris, anything, a couple of shovels full of stuff, and it's jammed up with junk. Which in turn happens is it goes down the embankment, and then it makes a washout onto Wayne Avenue, So I'm like, well, if somebody could clear that out, that'd be...
Is that in the right-of-way of the Thruway Authority, would you know, Mr. Zawicki?
Yeah, that's the through. As a matter of fact, we have addressed that in the past on several occasions.
Okay. But that's just adding to the runoff and the flooding onto Wayne Avenue. Is that correct? That's what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay. So...
What happens here, if you have a major rain event, it overflows. And since it bypasses, because it exceeds its capacity, and it overflows that basin, and it goes down the hill onto Wayne Avenue. We'll look at it. We have done some work here. We'll take another look.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it tomorrow, Mr. Magrino.
Okay. To move on, as far as the paving aspect of it goes, they said in the future, we're waiting for everybody to finish up touching up what the contractors are doing, and then all of these roads together will be paved.
That's what we're led to believe, and that's what we're having a meeting tomorrow in regards to the restoration and repaving of Wayne, Orange, and Lafayette.
Okay.
I know it's a long, ongoing process, but we need to get it done properly.
Okay. In respect to that, the DOT, our friends at the GOT. Joe Russo.
Yes.
Okay. How you doing? You were doing some research as far as what can they do for us as far as a delayed green light on the corner of Lafayette and Washington Avenue, and I know they're like chasing a bunch of squirrels around, but did you hear any information about what they can do?
I have to follow up with Clark Osborne. We've made multiple attempts to reach out to the DOT, and as of yet, I do not believe they have conducted the study.
Okay.
So I will find out tomorrow when I speak to the chief.
Okay.
You know, yes, let's follow up with them tomorrow, Joe, because this is an ongoing issue too. And you know, working with the DOT is just rough.
Yeah.
But let's follow up with it tomorrow.
Also, I would like to thank Chief Osborne. He did put out the movable speed limit sign.
Yes.
It does work. Again, if you can pound it into DOT's head, get us one that's there permanently, it does help a lot. A lot of the traffic seems to slow down. Putting that movable speed limit sign there, and it lights up, and it scares them, and it does
Right.
help, you know, at least give us a chance to cross the street. You know, so it works, but if we could get something there permanent, it'd be great. I know it's pushing the issue. And then again, to close
I
out-
believe they did, and if the chief was here, he would speak to it. He did seek quotes on a permanent speed limit sign with the red flashing lights.
Right.
He does have information, he did follow up on it.
That's great.
Yes.
If that could get good.
So we'll continue to follow up on that also. And the enforcement also on Wayne Avenue continues.
Yeah, that's great. You know, like I said, I saw a difference once he put out the movable speed limit trap there. The last thing is, if they, when they finally do repave Wayne Avenue, again, if you can, again, there's a DOT, a lot of this is DOT, it ain't the village, I understand. Get them to really consider about crosswalks in certain areas. Again, not with lights lighting up, just certain areas where crosswalks should be, so people can cross safely. And, you know, when people see pedestrians walking in, the pedestrian has the right of way. If we can just emphasize that on them and get rid of them 2 lanes under that bridge, you know, before,
Right.
once they pave everything, get that 1 lane in there, and we'll be a lot safer over there. Other than that, I'm done. Thank you.
All right, great, thank you.
Before you sit down, I just want to thank you. I saw you out there with a pick and a garbage bag. It was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know you care.
I do care. I take a lot of pride in my village.
Wayne Avenue.
I believe in a quality of life, believe
Thank
me,
you.
and I think it helps a lot. Yeah.
I mean that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Please come up to the microphone and state your name and address.
Good evening, Village Board.
Good evening.
Andrew Zavosky, 3 Center Street. I am a member of the Suffern Lions Club, and we would like to ask the village if they could co-sponsor with us a Dog Day of Fun. The event would be held at the area across from the Leo P. Leiden area. There's a park there. The event would occur on September the 10th, a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2, and a rain date would be September 17th. Okay? I would thank you for your support.
So when you say co-sponsor, what does that entail?
That entails the Village of Suffern to participate with the Suffern Lions Club to make the event kind of successful. We might need a little assistance with certain issues in terms of, let's say, safety, you know, and to make sure that things aren't out of control. So it'd be more of a safety issue.
For the people?
Okay. We haven't yet finalized all the events that we are going to have in those 3 hours or 4 hours, so we have other things coming forth.
So I think what we would need to do, and my recommendation maybe with Kathy Mills, would to be all of us to sit down together and see what we can do to provide you as a, to be a co-sponsor. I know that Kathy participates in all of the recreational events throughout the village, and that she would be need to be made aware of what we're doing, or what the Lions Club would be doing.
Yeah.
Would that be something that you would like to do?
Oh, certainly, certainly. And I think the residents of the village would really enjoy this type of an activity, especially the younger audience. So it'd be very fun for all.
Right.
What kinds of things are you planning on?
Well, we're planning to have, like, so to speak, having, the dog with their owner, best show dog, who could be best trick, so to speak, dog who may look a little bit like the owner.
I know Mr. Hagen has a dog.
Matter of fact, I mean, there's so many residents here in the village of Suffern that have animals. I think even Virginia may have her dog that might want to participate in this kind of an event.
Okay, so, why don't you reach out to the Recreation Department, or, through us, or the board, or Kathy, and we'll work together on this.
Excellent, I
How's that
appreciate
sound?
that. I think it'll be really nice. I think the residents have something to look forward to.
All right, great, thank you. Where is my other sheet of paper? She took it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? No. Okay. Village Clerk,
I
Ms.
only have
Menschner.
one thing, Mayor.
Okay.
The minutes of a special meeting to be approved.
Motion.
Okay, so this is the village board, this was the special village board, special board meeting Thursday, April 21st.
Right.
And present was Mr. Trustee Morris and Trustee Hertzman and myself.
That's right.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, so the motion passes. Okay. Mr. Janito from the Finance Department, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. The main thing that we wanted to report on today is that we've been keeping in touch with the Environmental Facilities Corp. regarding the possible financing of our sewer abatement project. And to date, they've received everything that they need to evaluate our application. They have a meeting in July and they have a meeting in August. At one of those two meetings, we're expecting that the application will be brought before the EFC board, and we'll have an answer as to whether or not we'll get the financing. It would be market rate financing for the most part. But we, again, have been in touch with them. And when I say market rate financing, that's AAA rate and at very affordable rates under the EFC program. And we are still eligible possibly for the subsidy financing, which would give us a 50% subsidy or payment back on the interest. So we're still in the running for that as well.
Great. All righty.
Okay.
Thank
Other
you.
than that, as was mentioned, the CDBG money that you just approved tonight for the spending on the Orange Avenue sidewalks, Fred and Charles are working.
You needed a visual.
I was going to say
Remember the name.
Chuck. I don't think he likes to be called Chuck. Anyhow, Charles and Fred are working on obviously getting our reimbursement back, and we'll be following that up as well. So, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Mr. Kraushaar.
Okay, we need to reset the public hearing on the proposed local law on filming in the village. The county planning department took forever to get us their comments, and by the time they got us our comments, the public hearing hadn't been continued for like the fourth time. So I'd like someone to make a motion to set a public hearing on a local law for filming in the village for August 8th, 2016 at 7:40 p.m.?
Make a motion.
7:40 would be, yes.
somebody say something?
Need a motion.
Motion.
Oh, Joe Russo.
Motion to set a public hearing, August 8, 2016, 7:40 PM in regards to filming in the village.
I think Joe just...
Joe made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Trustee Hagen.
Trustee Hagen. Yes, he is very trusty. He wants to say that he appreciates the village with the recreation sponsoring or co-sponsoring this Dog Day event, and he will help in any way with the recreation department to make it happen. I want to thank you. And I want to thank Joe Hunt from the DPW, who's not here, for going out and investigating some issues with the DOT, O&R, for the projects going on. I just wanted to thank him. I know he's not here, but I wanted to mention that him, the mayor, myself, and Deputy Mayor Russo went out, and we have a lot more to go and a lot more to do, but we'll get all this stuff done. I just want to mention.
Great. Thank you.
And congratulations.
Congratulations, Deputy Mayor Russo.
Did I say Russo?
I got promoted.
Those medication I'm on.
Yes, you did.
I meant Morris. I didn't know you were Deputy Mayor.
All right, any other trustees have anything to say?
Well, the only other thing, maybe, we're doing great in recycling. As you may know, we get paid for the recycling. And Suffern, I'm looking at the last quarter.
Good.
Suffern was #1 out of all the villages in recycling, which is generating a fair amount of revenue for us. So keep up the good work, and we're doing great.
It's been a number of
Right.
years like that.
We're #1.
Number one.
We've been number one for quite a while.
All right, and just not to repeat myself, but we did get the award for the hydraulic modeling of Lake Antrim. We received the $110,000 for the Wayne Avenue replacement sidewalks. The police department did the walk and talk throughout the village, and the DPW continues their hard and diligent work. Thank you, Mr. Zawicki, and please tell Joe that during the past week he really stepped up and did a great job. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.